We already had a sorting exercise when we mapped our users in one of previous videos. But here I want to talk about sorting a little bit deeper. As you can see, you can get a question, sort the array of numbers, which actually means we have an array, for example 3, 5, 1, and we must sort it. And for this we are using sorting function in JavaScript, so we simply write sort, and here we must pass a sortable function, and we have such conditions. When a less than b, we are returning here -1, if a greater than b then 1, and 0 if they are equal. And previously we wrote here a and b, and here we can write a smaller than b, then we are returning -1, in other case we are returning 1. Also, it is important to remember that sorting returns the result of the sorting, which means we can put it in variable, for example result, but it will also mutate our array that we created. And actually it doesn't really make sense here because this is generated array on the fly, but if we will put it in the variable, then it makes sense. Here we have our array, and here we are sorting it. Let's look at the example. I'm console logging here array and result. And as you can see in browser, here we are getting exactly the same sorted array. And this is happening because sort mutates existing array, and we must remember about it. Also, there is one more important point to remember. In compare function, we can return a number which is bigger than 0 and smaller than 0. And it will be exactly the same. It will sort b before a and sort a before b, which actually means we can write our code a little bit differently and not with -1 and 1. We can simply return here a minus b. Why is that? Because we have here two numbers, for example 3 minus 5. In this case it will be less than 0, and then we will have this condition, sort a before b. Let's check this out. I'm reloading the page. We are getting 135 as previously. If we will write here b minus a, then it will be sorted in other direction. As you can see, we are getting 531, which actually means for sorting, we can sort it by returning -1 and 1, or something less than 0 and bigger than 0. Also, it is important to remember that we can use sorting only with primitives. If you are trying to sort here an object, it won't do anything because you can't really compare objects. But you can sort properties inside objects. And we have a task to sort an array of our books by author's last name. And here we can use exactly the same sorting function. So we're writing here books.sort, and here we're getting as an argument book 1 and book 2, and now we must compare them properly. So first of all, we must find a last name of the first author and of the second author. So here let's write author, last name 1, and here we're taking our book 1 dot author, and here we want to split our name with space and get here first argument. In this case, we will get a last name of our author. Now I will copy paste this line, and here we have author last name 2, and here is book 2. And now after this we can compare these two strings. This is why here we can write author last name 1 smaller than author last name 2, then we want to return -1, in other case we will return 1. And actually, as you can see here, we must use -1 and 1 because it's not numbers. We can't really subtract strings. And as you can see here in browser, we didn't console log anything. Now let's console log our books because actually we mutated our array. Let's reload the page, and as you can see, these are our books, but now on the first place we have Susan Collins. As you can see, it is sorted because previously we had here Rowling, then Mary Lou, and then Joanne Rowling, which actually means this code is working, and this is how you are sorting array of objects by some property.